Hello and welcome to the next preview of LPL Spring Split 2023. If you missed my two previous videos, we already did Anyone's Legend and BLG. There will be a playlist at the end of this video, which you can click on and go through all the content that's there. EDG, Edward Gaming, Worlds quarterfinalists, lost in 5 games to DRX. Who went on to win. Obviously, we know that series is remembered for quite a few different things. One being the demise of EDG and the way in which they lost. Scout played okay, and then, game 5, he got completely destroyed. So EDG responds by blowing it up. They have swapped out 3 of their 5 players from when they won Worlds 2 years ago. Flandre, Scout, and Viper are all out. Ale, Zhao Zhang, Fisher, and Fofo have been brought in. They have promoted Leave from AD Carry, which we'll get into. So this team has retooled. Only JJ and Mako remain from the World Championship team, and those are the only 2 players that remain from the starting 5 from last year. Going into next year, their starting 5, assumed with JJ in the lineup, is 21.8 years old. Excuse me. I'm still sick. Last year, in 2022, EDG finished 21-11 overall at the LPL level between the 2 splits. Their LDL team 31-13 winning spring. By the way, I do want to mention, I'm going to mention the middle of it, that if you notice the thumbnails are improved, that's because Wolilo in Discord and has been in the comment section before, really held my hand in trying to improve my thumbnails yesterday. So if you want to thank them in the Discord, that'd be appreciated. Mulilo really did a lot of the heavy lifting with that, convincing me to do it, and then not only that, showing me the correct programs and ways to improve the thumbnails. So if you could thank them, that'd be much appreciated. The coach for EDG is Maokai. Maokai's been there for a couple years. 95-70 over his career as a coach. As I said, the moves already. In top lane, Ale, 21 years old, coming from LNG. 2.8 KDA, 8.1 CS per minute, 56.5 KP, all pretty standard, above average. 466 damage per minute, 22 damage share, 21.5 gold share, 12 champions in 27 games. Also, we have to keep in mind he did lose his job to Pandacy for a bit of time last year, which was an utter mistake by LNG, but they did it. Nar and Sejuani were the only 2 champions he played like the vast majority of the games on. I think like 14 of the 27 games he played were on those 2 champions. Zhao Zhang was brought back, originally an EDG prospect, played for Thunder Talk last year, now is being returned to EDG Youth. 20 years old, 2.3 KDA, 7.9 CS per minute, 60.4 KP. So pretty close to Ale there. Honestly, looking at it statistically, not to mention, you really think about it, LNG was a lot better than Thunder Talk on paper when you think Tarzan and Doumbé versus Bechuan and UCal. I mean, I'm a big Bechuan fan, but LNG on paper looks a lot better than Thunder Talk, right? Zhao Zhang should have probably... Thunder Talk probably should have held on to him over Hoya. I don't know why they swapped them back. Not to say Zhao Zhang really set the world on fire. 7.9 is not good enough, but we're seeing top lane be an issue for Thunder Talk right now in the Demacia Cup. 479 damage per minute, 26.5 damage share, 21 gold share. 10 champions in 13 games. Gwen and Sejuani, I believe, are the only 2 champions he played more than once in last summer. Solo Kill is their 3rd string top laner now. The poor guy is in contract prison. I've really liked what I've seen out of Solo Kill at times. 21 years old, 538 KDA, 818 CS per minute, 56.3 KP, 569 damage per minute, which is a lot. We're looking at over 100 damage per minute more than Ale, obviously at a lower level of play. 22 gold share, 9 champions in 34 games. Gwen, GP, and Aatrox were his 3 most played champions with EDGY last year. I know there are EDG fans in the Discord that wanted Solo Kill to play. Solo Kill looks like he is stuck. In the jungle, JJ is still the starter. 3.5 KDA, 5.4 CS per minute, 67.1 KP, 267 damage per minute. That gives him a 12% damage share, 17.7 gold share. In 27 games, he played 7 champions. So, in EDG's, how do I word it? The style of play EDG chose to go with in summer really put JJ in a facilitator role, and he didn't do as well as some would have probably liked, me included. I thought Junjia, which we'll get into, outplayed him, and that 12 damage share is really indicative of that. Like, hey, your job is not to deal damage, your job is not to get kills, it's to set up, make things happen, and at 67.1 KP really didn't do that. Viego, Lee Sin, and Vi were his 3 most played champions. Junjia, 8.6 KDA, 451 CS per minute, 69.8 KP. Not thrilled with the 451 CS per minute, but we are also going to acknowledge that EDG did want to play a facilitator role. Don't even bother farming, just try and set things up, make things happen. 307 damage per minute, 12.4 damage share, 16.7 gold share, 4 champions in 11 games. Poppy, Trundle, and Wukong were his most played. In those 11 games, Junjia went 10-1 in the LPL summer towards the end there, and really got them out of a hole. Some people kind of overlooked the fact that Junjia, that 10-1 record, was really a difference maker for EDG to get into a better spot in the playoffs and even be relevant. Because midway through, there were some struggles there with EDG. Monkey is behind them both at the EDGY level. 475 KDA, 564 CS per minute, 68.6 KP. So probably getting to the point now where before the end of this year, we're looking at a guy that should be being considered for an LPL spot into 2024 or later 2023. 338 damage per minute, 18.7 gold share, 7 champions, 34 games. Viego, Trundle, and Belveth. Yes, he went 5-0 on Belveth in summer. So Monkey is no slouch. Keep in mind, not only did this team win LPL, but they also won Asia Stars Challenge. So these young players, Solo Kill, Monkey, and we'll get into the rest, they won at Asia Stars Challenge, which included the top LCK teams, top LGL teams, PCS, VCS, and the like. In mid lane, we have Fofo. So a lot of people upset by this. Fofo, 23 years old, 5.5 KDA, 8.3 CS per minute, 66.8 KP, 536 damage per minute, 27.2 damage share, 21.5 gold share, 12 champions in 44 games. So we're looking at a low econ mid laner at 21.5. Out punching? That's not a word. Like punching above his weight when it comes to gold, dealing 27% of the damage on 21% of the econ with BLG last year. Obviously, BLG's mid lane was a mess with Icon and Fofo. But it's expected that he's going to split time, I think, with Fisher. Oriana, LeBlanc, and Azir are his 3 most played champions. Oriana, he played that like over 10, 12 times, maybe even 12 times across 44 games. I don't think anybody else played Oriana as much as Fofo did last year. Fisher, 18 years old, brought in from Sandbox in Sandbox's Challengers team from Korea. 3.6 KDA, 8.6 CS per minute, 68.7 KP. So lower level competition, out farming Fofo. 699 damage per minute, so that's a lot more damage in the same meta. 31.7 damage share, 22.5 gold share, 8 champions of 25 games. So dealing a lot of damage. We're looking at almost a primary damage dealer last year for Sandbox with Fisher at 31%. Azir and Akali being his most played. 1 second. Okay. The third mid laner, we have Saiku, 18 years old as well. 491 KDA, 797 CS per minute, 62.1 KP, 553 damage per minute, 20.6 gold share, 9 champions in 34 games in the LDL. So it seems like EDG didn't think that Saiku was getting it done, bringing in Fisher. Fisher looking like he has the edge in multiple ways. I mean, LDL and Challenger are equivalent in terms of level of play, in my opinion. You know, you're looking at the second tier level in both the LPL and LCK. And Fisher's out farming him by 0.7 CS per minute, getting into 6.5% more fights. I mean, it's definitely a different style of play completely. This goes beyond just team diff, but like regional diff. But, you know, it seems that EDG wanted to go with that route. And I have read things that were indications that Fisher is the expected player to be getting a look here with EDG in I don't know if it's going to be spring or summer, and maybe that's why Scout was a little hesitant in staying with EDG, because I mean, he may not have wanted to split time or whatever, where Fofo is at a point in his career where that's kind of what he is going to have to do. Silas, LeBlanc, and Ari were Saiku's 3 most played champions with the LDL last year. In bot lane, they only have 1 bot laner under contract, no one in EDG Youth yet. Leave, 20 years old, trying to replace Viper. This is going to be a massive, massive deal. 696 KDA, 892 CS per minute, 70.4 KP. 771 damage per minute, that's a big boy. 25-1 gold share, 9 champions, 34 games. Looking at Leaf's stats a little deeper now. So that 8.92 CS per minute is misleading. There are 5 Senna games across his 34. You look at his individual champion pool, and he keeps up in farm on everything. So that farm is just kind of skewed a bit. Not only that, his Aphelios, which was his most played, he played 14 times, going 13-1 during the Sivir Zeri meta. His most common champions otherwise, Zeri and Senna. Leave looks like he's ready. Now, will he be able to fill the shoes of Viper? Probably not. That's going to be a tall task for anybody. But it's definitely something to look at throughout the split. I think people have to understand that he's not going to be Viper. And EDG may have some struggles in the beginning. It's definitely feasible when they're playing the big dogs. They may not be as competitive, but it's a growth thing. This team is definitely not a spring contender. It is a summer project that will need to develop. Mako at support, obviously, has been around the block. 24 years old, 414 KDA, 69.7 KP, 12 champions, 38 games. Nautilus, Braum, TK, definitely one of the better supports in the world. A good support to have alongside a rookie in Leave. Jaimu behind him, 6.24 KDA, 66.4 KP, 10 champions, 34 games. Renata, Karma, and Nautilus, I believe played the Renata like 10 times, so a big Renata enjoyer, but he's not taking Mako's spot, so definitely a player that may be getting stuck right now, similar to Solo Kill and Monkey by the end of this year. You know, a player that EDG might want to sell off so they can afford to keep their players, unlike losing them as they did this past offseason. Definitely a disappointment for the EDG faithful. At least that's my assumption. If you're an EDG fan, comment down below with your opinions on this team. How do you think the team's going to do? Do you have high expectations for spring? Are you accepting that spring is more so just growth period for Leave? If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, hit the playlist that's going to pop up around me soon so you can watch other LPL content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube member, by the way, in, damn it, in January, we're going to start doing predictions for the games when the games start. So that'll be members only content at $10 a month. $3 a month just supports me, keeps the lights on with the channel. That would be appreciated, and thank you for watching.